It might sound strange, but the hardest part about becoming a traveler is actually deciding to become a traveler. That's the big hurdle. The rest is just work and planning.
Hello and welcome to the. Could be a lot of hellos and welcome, but no.
We have to say welcome each day.
Okay.
Hi, and welcome to day number 2, lesson number 2. I said day number 2 because, as we told you, you have to take this course one day at a time, because you have a lot of things to think about each lesson. Also yesterday you had to think about who am I for real, and hopefully you found out, because you're gonna use that later on. So welcome to lesson number 2.
Today we're going to talk about how we got from the dream to doing the dream. As I've said, from dreamer to doer.
Today's lesson is actually the lesson that is the hardest one of all. So from here on it just gets easier, because today you have to decide that you want to be a traveler. It sounds easy, but the decision is the biggest one that you have to go through. So yesterday was all about finding out what you really want, what your passion is, and today you have to tell someone. As we told you, our first goal was actually to move to Greece, and that was 10 years ago. No, now it must be 13 years ago.
Yeah.
We talked about it a lot, and then we had our very important jobs, and we had our teenage children, and we had all sorts of stuff that had to be done before we could leave. But time passed, and every day passed, and we never got around to it. So it took us 10 years to decide that we wanted to go traveling, and that's not uncommon. And maybe you've been dreaming for 10 years too, so that's okay. But now you are taking the decision, making the decision today.
But the turning point, it was in 2017. We sat down and we talked about how are we going to do this, if we're going to do it. And the most important thing was telling ourselves, yes, we are going to do it.
We hate the cold, and this day it was really cold, and once again we were dreaming ourselves away, and oh, wouldn't it be nice if we could just be in the sun, and we realized we had been talking about this so many times before. Let's stop talking and let's just go.
Yeah, but what about and what about this, and what who will say, and what, and stop, Eva said.
Yeah.
Why are we always keeping track of who is it gonna hurt, where are we gonna go, and how are we gonna do this, and why not just say this is where we're going, let's do it? And I had to say yeah.
He said yes.
Yeah, it was like getting married.
Yeah. He said yes.
I said yes.
Yeah.
Even though I had a lot of thoughts behind it, how and where, and money, and what are people gonna say, all these things were in my head all the time. Going from just a normal travel to full-time traveling, that's a big decision, and it took a while for me personally to get to take everything, everyday life, to just stand up and walk out of it.
You have to make the decision, and it takes guts. It takes a lot of guts, actually. That day in 2017, when it was cold and we were yet again dreaming, we realized that we were actually just waiting for these kids to come see us, or have time for us to have a cup of coffee with them. And we looked around in our house that we've been really happy about while the children was growing up, and all of a sudden we realized we had this house where we used the living room and we used the bed, and we had 7 rooms in this house, we had rooms we never came in.
Yeah.
Only when we had to clean and remove dust, because those were the children's rooms. We had made them to be guest rooms, but to be honest, nobody came to sleep. They came to have a cup of coffee and a meal, and then they left again. So these rooms were empty, and we had the garden that was, it was all work. It was nice to have a garden, but it was all work. So all of a sudden we realized that we don't need this stuff that we have here. So why don't we just go? And then we decided, we go. That's it. We're done here. It felt like we were done with the house because the children had grown up in it, and we were ready to leave. Next chapter. So that was when we decided that this chapter was going to be our chapter, and we were going to travel. So the next day we called the real estate agent, and things were in motion. And it actually, we were relieved, because it was a hurdle that we crossed that bridge. And the next day everything seemed easy, but making this decision, it was super hard. And we were actually surprised by that the rest seemed okay. Then we just do this, and then it was practical. The rest of it was just practical stuff that had to be done. But making this decision about this is what we are going to do, it was the hardest decision in all of this, actually.
Yeah, I used to tell people that it's like bungee jumping. You don't know, you wish you would try it, but you do not know what and how and when and where. But this about calling the real estater and getting the house on sale, all these things was, okay, I jumped.
Yeah, after calling the real estate agent, everything was in motion, and everything was running smoothly. Of course, it took time, and we had to find money and everything, and we're going to talk a lot about that in the next lessons. But this lesson today, lesson number 2, it is the hardest lesson that you are going to have in all of this, because this is the hardest decision to make. I'm going to do this.
It's actually very calming after you take that step.
It is.
After that one step, it's okay, I did it. And now I'm just moving forward from here on.
And today is the day that you really decide that you are going to travel, because today is the day that you make the huge decision, and you actually let other people know that you're going to go traveling. First of all, you're going to let yourself know that you're going to travel. But today you're also going to tell others that you are going to travel, because you are.
Yeah, as we tried to tell you that we had this ordinary life with work and children and things to do all the time, and 1 week takes another, and a month takes another, and suddenly there goes 5 to 6, 7 years, and you still, every time you got the time to sit for yourself and say, oh, it would be great to, something always gets in the way. You know, everyday life goes by, and you always think that this is more important than the dream you're having. But what's more important than getting your dreams out in the world?
Exactly. You always put yourself behind everybody else, but at some point, if you want to have a really happy life, you need to put yourself first.
Yeah, it's not about being selfish or only thinking about yourself. It's just sometimes you have to put yourself first in line.
And actually, if you are happy, you are able to bring happiness to the rest of your life. And if you are happy, your family will be happy, and your friends will be happy, and life in general will be much more happy. So taking the decision, or making the decision about becoming a full-time traveler, as you're going to do today, that's so important for the rest of your life.
So after yesterday, when you found your passion, now it's about telling someone about your decision. That was one of the main hurdles we had to start out with. Who are we going to tell, and how are we going to tell them?
But then there's the next thing. You can decide, and you can decide with your spouse or your friend or something that this is what you're going to do. But then you can pull it back. You can, we just keep on dreaming. It's between us. Shh. So the most important thing is today that you have to tell someone else. We went and we told our children.
Yeah.
This is what we're gonna do.
We thought that would be easy.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
It wasn't.
It's like we have to abandon you, and remember they're grown up. So we didn't abandon anything. We didn't do anything wrong, but still we felt that we had to be there for them. Right now and today, it's important that you get to tell somebody or everybody. That's up to you how bold you are, but just tell somebody outside the comfort circle of friends or something that this is your plan, because first you do that, you're obligated. You have to do it. Otherwise people will come back to you and say, well, wasn't your plan to go traveling? So it's like when you have to quit smoking or stop eating chocolate. You have to tell someone, not just keep it inside. You have to tell someone, I'm going to quit smoking, because then people will hold this against you and they'll ask, did you quit smoking? So tell somebody, and that's what you have to do today. We couldn't say to people that we're going on a long vacation or anything. We could just tell them that we have decided that we want to go traveling in a motorhome. And it was we didn't have any more to tell them, so it was super odd to tell them that. But afterwards, it was a relief that we said it to somebody.
Yeah, and more this, that they were always asking, where is this vacation going to, and how long is your vacation, and to make them understand that this is not a vacation. It might seem like a vacation, but this is a traveling. It's a mind-expanding thing we wanted to do, because we knew there were more to life than just the everyday working life, and that was hard for people to understand.
This is going to be our new life. We are going to be travelers, and that was what we told people when we told, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah, you had a hard time telling your dad, I know.
Yeah, I did.
Your father wasn't all that keen about.
I don't know if he wasn't keen about it, but I was really nervous to tell both my parents, but especially my dad, because they're both getting older, and you're supposed to be around your parents when they're old, and I also wanted to be around my parents, but after all, I didn't see him every day, and I don't see my mother every day. So I had to take make this really hard talk with my dad about, I have decided to go traveling, and it's not just a vacation. I have to decided that I want to do this more. And he was a little bit and I understand him, because his children are what he thinks about now, that he isn't working anymore. And I had to be brutally honest with him, and I had to say, but Dad, isn't it more fair than me waiting for you to be honest, to die, so I can go and live out my dream? And we've been talking about this later too, and he's okay with it, but of course it was a hard pill to swallow. But now he's enjoying seeing what we're doing, and he's following on us on Facebook and everything, and we're talking about what we see and what we experience. But it was really hard for me to tell him that I'm going to go away.
It might be difficult for some of the ones you're going to tell. I myself had a bit difficulty by telling my daughter that I was now going out traveling the world. She's been educating herself for 4 years, and finally she moved home, And I told her that in 3 months I'm gonna go out traveling the world.
Yeah, she'd been living abroad for 4 years.
Yeah.
And finally she went home to Denmark.
Yeah.
Yeah. And her dad left.
And then her dad left.
It was actually, it was nerve-wracking, and it was very strange to tell somebody that our plan is to go traveling in a motorhome, and we didn't have any other plan about it.
No, they often ask, what's the destination? We have no destination. We're just driving towards the sun and the good weather. And they were like, what? Is that a plan? Until now, yeah. The rest will come.
We didn't have a full plan that we could tell our children, but it was important for us to tell someone that we're actually gonna do something.
Yeah.
There are people that it's gonna be easy to tell to, your best friends or something, because they're just gonna say, wow, that's cool. And there you feel some support at least, so you're not alone. So go tell them too, just to get this positive response also, because friends are friends, and they just want what's best for you.
Exactly. Yeah. You will be surprised of how calm you feel yourself after telling someone, because it's very nerve-wracking before you do it, and how are they going to respond, but as long as you just stick to your plan and tell somebody, you will be quite relieved when you've said to one friend or a family member, this is what I'm going to do, and you will fly on a little cloud about, yes, I did it, I told someone, and now it's on.
And the people you have to tell after that, that's so much easier than the first persons that you have to tell today. The rest, that's a piece of cake, because now you made the decision and you are in motion and you've done the first step. So the rest of the people, you already know what you have to say, and you probably know what's the worst reaction I can get, because that was the difficult person that you're going to tell today. The rest is easy peasy.
And of course they will have the question, why and how long and all that. That's not the point right now. The point is that you're going to tell them what your plan is. Actually, after a while you get to the point where you think everybody knows. I had a couple of situations when I just blabbed it out, this is what I'm going to do in 6 months, and people was, where are you going? I'm going traveling. Traveling, fine. And I thought everybody knew. That was after I told 20 people or something. Then it really struck me that, okay, I think everybody knows. but that's how easy it gets. So don't worry.
Today might be tough, but it gets easier tomorrow. You need to share your plan. That way you have to commit and you'll be obligated. You can lie and postpone to yourself, but not to others.